making a quick video about some statistics that my husband and I have been researching over the last couple years and have finally compiled into one document about black crime, white arrest rates, and black arrest rates. I'm just going to be reading this. I'm going to make this short and sweet. Black people are arrested at a rate of 5.1 times that of a white person. The disparity is at a rate of 10 to 1. For every 10 black people, there is one white person being arrested. I'm going to say that again. Every 10 black people, there is one white person. But there is 76% of the U.S. taken up by white people. However, white people committed 5,626,140 crimes last year, while black people only committed 2,221,697 crimes. But black people take up almost 50 to 70% of all prisons in the states, which means that there is a huge disparity in the arrest rate of black people versus white people. The states that have the highest amount of black people versus white people in prison is Alabama, Delaware, Georgia, Illinois, Louisiana, Maryland, Michigan, Mississippi, New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Yeah, as we see by stats, far more white people are actually committing crimes. Literally, white people committed almost 3 million more crimes last year, but black people are paying way more jail sentences and serving jail time than white people. White people committed 236,590 violent crimes, while black people only committed 151,744. That means that there were 84,846 more violent crimes committed by white people. So statistically speaking, a white person is more likely to commit a violent crime. Yeah, a black person is more likely to serve jail time. In fact, black men who commit the same crimes as white men receive federal prison sentences that are on average nearly 20% longer, according to a report on sentencing disparities, and this report is from the United States Sentencing Commission, or the USSC. So white people or black people are serving 20% longer sentences for crimes that the same type of a crime that a white person committed. White people are also more likely to commit crimes. They're more likely to commit a violent crime. Yet we see a pattern here with the fact that black people are more likely to serve longer time for the same thing, and they are more likely to be arrested. Here's some examples of some people who committed petty larceny, petty theft, and served ridiculous amounts of time. A few of them did have previous petty theft charges, nothing very serious. Timothy Jackson, a black male, received life in prison for stealing a $159 shirt. Alvin Kennard got 36 years in prison because he stole $50 worth of groceries. Willie Simmons, who spent the last 38 years in prison for stealing $9, was convicted of first-degree robbery and sentenced to life without parole for $9. Jacoba Grimes was charged with stealing $31 worth of candy and is now facing 20 years in prison for this infraction. So, I tried searching again for more white males who committed exact similar crimes within, say, $160 of theft and getting life in prison, and I couldn't find anybody. Just putting that out there. There possibly could be someone. Again, I searched for 30 minutes and couldn't find anyone. No names, nothing. Well, while the numbers show that in 2013 to 2019, white people were killed more than black people by police officers. There were 3,378 white people killed last year and 1,944 black people killed. But when you account for the population percentage, black people are killed at 3 times the rate by population than white people. So a black person is 3 times more likely to die by a police officer, even though, as we see, white people are more likely to commit a violent crime. They're more likely to commit any crime at all, statistically, or because they committed more than 3 million more than black people did. So basically what that means is that for every 1 million black people, 42 black people die, while only 14 white people die per million. So we have 1 million white people, only 14 of them die. We have 1 million black people, 42 of them will die by police officer. And while they are more likely to die, black people, they are also 1.3 times more likely to be unarmed and still killed by police officers. 1.3 times more likely. So again, re-summary, white people committed more crimes last year. They're more likely to be violent. They're less likely to serve jail time. They're less likely to serve jail time for the same exact crime as a black person. Black people are more likely to be killed by a police officer. And they're more likely to be killed while being unarmed than a white person. 5% of black people killed, of that number that I said earlier, the 1,944, 5% of that number were killed by off-duty cops, but only 2% of white people were killed by off-duty cops. And again, white people are more likely to commit a violent crime or be armed. While these stats may not shock you, over 98% of the shootings, the officers were not charged. The charges were framed. So out of those 98% of shootings, 99 of those instances went to court, but convictions were only recorded at 20. So only 20 of those cases actually got any charges. And I don't have the specifics on race on that, but the fact that 99 went to court for a specific reason and only 20 got charged is huge. Out of all 7,564 police shootings last year, 98% of them were not charged. Those are some numbers for you. Again, I will post, I'm going to make a post and I'll post these there for the visual people who like to read, but I also wanted to have an auditory option. One more thing before I end this video is talking about racial disparities in exonerees. And for those who don't know, exoneree is someone who was proven to be innocent after they served jail time. So there is approximately 115,000 people in prison right now that are innocent. Of that number, 46.79 are black, 38.7 are white, 21.8 are Hispanic, and the rest are other. So black people are also more likely to be arrested for a crime and can given jail time for a crime they never committed by 46.79%. If you add up all these years, that is 21,000 years lost. 40% of people in jail are black, yet 13.4 of Americans are black, which is a huge racial disparity. The biggest statistical reason for wrongly imprisonment is number one is racial profiling. Mistaken identity or racial profiling is 60% more likely to happen to a black person as opposed to 20% of any other race. This is largely due to the fact that white people are more descriptively described in police reports than black people. If you examine cases, a black person will be described as black and sometimes the color of their shirt, while white people are far more descriptively described in police reports. For example, a couple months ago, there was a shooting in the city. It was just between two people. They had a gunfight in the mall parking lot. And one of the shooters was black, and he ran away. So obviously he was a suspect, and rightly so. But if you look at his description, it was black person wearing white shirt. That's all. There was nothing about his hair, nothing about his height, nothing about his body size, nothing about his tattoos possibly, nothing about pants, nothing about shoes. So he was given a very tiny description, which is the case for a lot of these black suspect cases if you start investigating and looking into that. While white people will be given things like curly hair, they have a beard, they're tall, they're skinny, has a tattoo, has a limp, something like that to set them apart. And the fact that these black people are not being described that way and are being racially profiled 40% at a rate of 40% more than any other race tells you that there is a huge racial disparity, and a number one reason of why black people are being stopped when they shouldn't be, they're being arrested when they shouldn't be, they're being charged when they shouldn't be. This has gone on too far. The number one person who spent the longest time in jail for a crime they didn't commit was Richard Phillips. He spent 45 years in jail and was a black man, and he got $0 in reparation. And if you look at statistics as well, white people are also more likely to get reparations when they find out that they were innocent in jail, as opposed to a black person. Richard Phillips spent 45 years in jail for something he never did and got nothing for 45 years of his life being stolen. This is an outrage. These are all statistics that you can use to fight this battle against ignorance, Some people may not know about them or want to do the research because it was hard. It's hard to do this. I had to go to different articles, databases, journals just to find these things. And it shouldn't be that hard for the public to access them, but it is. So I encourage you guys to share these, to write them down, and to not share wrong or skewed information like the media is pushing right now. Candace Owens shared a video. She is known by most of the Black community and, I would say most enlightened people as Uncle Tom or Uncle Ruckus. And she shared a video very, very much misconstruing what is actually going on in our nation, the actual problem that we have at hand. So I encourage you to fight against that type of ignorance. Again, I just need to say this at the end of every video I make. Not all police are bad. Not all white people are racist. Not all Black people are thugs. All of these, except for when it comes to statistics, we need to be done with these definitive statements because they're not true and they harm and hurt people. Thank you.